And welcome back to the Prop Shop. There's an NBA edition of the Prop Shop. I'm your host, Bobby Stanley, also known as PropHolliday on social media, rocking with the GoldBoys. Decent slate in the NBA and an awesome trade deadline. Obviously, you're not going to peak the Luka Doncic trade, but the moves that we saw, I wrote down a bunch. There were a flurry of them today before the deadline ended. None of these are in sequential order. None of these are in importance, but they're just some notes I made on the deadline. A lot of big names, a lot of big names. I think that has to do with the impact of the second apron this year. We're really starting to see those effects, penalizing teams that would overspend and then would end up limiting their roster abilities kind of later down the line, potentially losing draft picks. I think if you're over the apron 3 of 5 years. Um, we're starting to see the effects of that. It's pretty cool. Big names over the last few days. Sacramento Kings get Zach LaVine for a bevy of picks, a couple first rounders in there. Bulls receive Zach Collins, Kevin Herter, Trey Jones, and the Spurs get De'Aaron Fox. I watched that game last night. I think he had 24 and 13, 23 and 13. It looked good. It looked like a different dimension of offense for that Spurs team. It looked a lot faster, a lot more up tempo, and him garnering the attention he does, whether he can take you off the dribble or hit an open shot, just opened so many other things up for the rest of that San Antonio team. So I like what I saw, although it was against the Atlanta Hawks. So temper expectations. Kings acquire Jonas Valanciunas. Kind of a head scratcher what that roster is and what they built. We don't know, or we do know that DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are not playoff caliber basketball, but they decided to double down on that. So maybe it's a breakdown and rebuild over a longer period of time. My favorite non-Luca trade so far, take him out of it. DeAndre Hunter to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was reported today. Karis LeVert, George Niang, and 3 second rounders. My biggest knock on the Cavs was not their backcourt play. It was obviously not their front court play. It was who's their wing defenders, who's their wing scorers, and then they go and get a guy like DeAndre Hunter. I think he was averaging 18 points per game off the bench for Atlanta. This could be what now I feel comfortable with that Boston series. Should it go seven? I think they can make it go 7 games. Put it that way. I think that could be a good series where they get it in the second round or we get it in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Cavs are live. Suns trade Yusuf Nurkic to the Hornets for Cody Martin and Vasily Micic. I like Micic, fun guy to bet on for player props. He's been the backup point guard for I think for like 2 years now. He came over last year at the deadline from Oklahoma City Thunder. We watched him play for Serbia in the Olympics. Excited to see him on the second unit with that Phoenix Suns team. So that's pretty cool. Heat acquire Davion Mitchell. There's more to the Heat, but Heat acquired Davion Mitchell for PJ Tucker. Love that for the Heat. Davion Mitchell, scrappy Sacramento Kings guard. Then he went to Toronto. Um, he's I like him. I like him replacing Terry Rozier. I thought it was going to be Schroeder. It was not Schroeder. Schroeder went to Utah and then bought out and found his way to Detroit. Lakers land Mark Williams for Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and the Lakers 2031 first round unprotected. That was the second one they were holding on to. And they get they get an awesome center in Mark Williams when he's healthy, when he plays. They went to Lucas, said, "What are you looking for?" He said, "I need a guy I can throw lobs to when I charge the paint." So they give up Connect in doing it, but he shouldn't have been there when they picked in the first round. So that was icing on the cake. Cam Reddish just kind of a throw in, and you get that Lakers unprotected first rounder. Which, when you have Luka Doncic, you're going to be a playoff. You're going to be a playoff team every single year. So that 2031, I wouldn't feel too sad about it if I'm the Lakers. Pelicans finally moved Brandon Ingram to the Raptors for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and another first rounder. I like seeing Brandon Ingram on the move. I like that Scotty Barnes is not where the offense is going to run through. We've seen it. We've seen kind of enough of it. I think he could be a really good 2 or 3 piece and let Brandon Ingram kind of get his own team. And I like the pieces around it. Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk should be fun on the Pelicans. I like Bruce Brown. I don't think they're anything this year, but potentially next year. They could be something. Jimmy Butler lands in Golden State, signs a 2-year extension. The Heat receive Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, and PJ Tucker, who they flipped for Davion Mitchell. So that saga is finally over. Shocked that Butler got the extension. I know he was trying to force his way to Phoenix, but Kevin Durant apparently put the kibosh on that. Pistons receive Lindy Waters and Josh part of that trade, the Pistons receive Lindy Waters and Josh Richardson. Jazz get Schroeder. Schroeder then gets moved to he ended up getting bought out and he sits in Detroit now. Kyle Kuzma to the Bucks for Chris Middleton and AJ Johnson. Bogdanovich to the Clippers for Terrence Mann and Bones Highland. Talking with my guy Ahan before. It's going to be fun to bet Bones Highland the rest of the way on that Atlanta team. Bogdanovich to the Clippers could be fun. I think they're currently top 4 in the West, so he'll be helpful in a playoff series. Marcus Smart to the Wizards. Jake LaRavia to the Kings. Grizzlies get multiple second rounders, and I think Marvin Bagley went. If I read correctly, Marvin Bagley and Johnny Davis were included in that trade, and they ended up going to the Grizzlies, I believe. Bucks again, they get Kyle Kuzma and they get Kevin Porter Jr. for Marshawn Beauchamp. It's kind of just a throw in. Kevin Porter Jr., his splits weren't great this year, but I like him as a second unit ball handler. That was kind of Chris Middleton's role. He has since departed. So I kind of like Kevin Porter Jr. It's not efficient, but I trust him at least bringing up the ball, not in a playoff situation. But he could be a 7th, 8th man, give you 10 minutes in a playoff series. James Wiseman to the Raptors. That is meaningless, but I just wanted to throw it in there. So those were the highlights of the trade deadline. Decent slate for us tonight. First game is the Mavericks and the Celtics. I don't know if we're getting the Anthony Davis debut. I believe we may be. The line currently sits at 12. Drew Holiday is out for the Celtics. Do we have lines on Anthony Davis? I'm trying to see. I don't think we do. No, not the Anthony Davis debut. What else we got? Rockets and Timberwolves should be a decent game. No Fred VanVleet in that one. Or Magic getting 6.5 against Denver. I got to play in that game. That it's roller coaster with this guy. Golden State Warriors and the Lakers are your other primetime game. FanDuel has a no sweat bet between the Celtics Mavericks and the Lakers Warriors. Lakers still without Luka Doncic. I think he makes his debut on Saturday. Kings and Blazers, and we wrap out the night with Pacers and Clippers. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the Trailblazers are like 9-1 over the last 10. They're looking really good. They are 1-point underdogs at home against the new look Kings on a back-to-back with Levine. Let me go to my first play of the night. It's Paolo Banchero. It's in that Orlando-Denver game, and Paolo's been letting us down a lot. Paolo Banchero over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I got it at -105. It's a 1-unit play for me. I'm buying the dip on Banchero, and I got burned on him since he's come back. He's not been scoring. He's not looked the same. He's still swinging away. He went like 2 of 18 2 games ago when I bet on him. But I think this could, if I could bet on the breakout, if I could buy the dip, I like it tonight against this Nuggets team. Ranked top 5 in NBA in pace. None of the teams of late that he's played have cracked top 10 in pace, so a little bit of a speed up there. Nuggets rank 18th in transition defense. He's coming off games against the Kings and the Warriors, top 3 in transition defense. He's averaging 15% of his points in transition. Nuggets are 29th in spot up shooting, 30th in assists, and 28th in points in the paint allowed. Taking a swing on Banchero, over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It's been the Franz Wagner show since he's returned, but they're just waiting on Banchero to break out, and I'll buy here. This number was probably like 42.5, 43.5 last postseason. I still think he's that guy. He's in a slump right now coming off an injury. Before we go to my next play, DraftKings, doing a lot of betting on DraftKings lately. They're making it easy to start betting. Bet $5. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. It's that simple. Click the link in our episode description to get started today. Must be 21 plus, 18 plus in Kentucky, Wyoming. Gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Second play tonight for me, Anthony Edwards, over 10.5 rebounds and assists at -115. It's a small sample size, which can be risky when weighing player props, but I like the trend here. No Julius Randle for the Timberwolves, higher usage for Anthony Edwards. He's had 8 and 10 potential assists in the 2 games without Randle so far. He's hit this in 8 of 15 over the last 15, 1 of 2 without Randle. But he hit this in 1 of 2 against Houston this season already. And his average season usage is about 30%. Without Randle, he posted 29.9 and 43. I'm going to meet somewhere in the middle. It seems like 2 extremes to me. So if he's 32% or higher, he hits this number in 55% of games this season, 10 of 18 games. Mike Conley on a back-to-back, he's averaging 25 minutes per game on the season, hasn't gone higher than 23 minutes in any back-to-back so far And I think that's the case. So a little bit more of Anthony Edwards bringing the ball up. And then no Julius Randle just eat up possessions. He's a possession stopper. So I think the ball moves a lot quicker. And we see him more as the initiator tonight against the Rockets. I'm going Ant Edwards over 10.5 rebounds and assists. Before we go into my lotto plays, let's hear a couple words from my boy Brad.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the GoldBoys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the GoldBoys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
And welcome back. Before we go into my NBA kind of long shots, I have a round robin tonight, so my lot of fun stuff. One odds boost that is pertinent to today. So if you're watching and you have Bet365, go to Bet365, bet the Saquon Barkley odds boost. All of these books are doing crazy shit for the Super Bowl, where I think DraftKings today was Travis Kelce, 10 yards receiving in the first quarter, bumped to plus 140. That one doesn't feel great one way or another on that. Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown goes from minus 190, minus 200 to even money. My max bet was $60 on Bet365. I know my producer had like $5, $10. So go to Bet365 if you have it. Bet Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown. Today's odds boost. I don't think it's going to be there tomorrow, or else we would have dropped it on Saturday's show for the Super Bowl. So get it in tonight. Saquon Barkley, even money, anytime touchdown, and max it out. My max was $60. That's 1.5 units for me. I don't care. If I get Barkley at even money in the fucking Super Bowl to score a touchdown, I'm betting it. So tonight's lotto stuff. I put in a 3-team round robin to do 2-leg combinations, obviously, and then you got to throw $5 on the parlay. Gabe Vincent, 10 plus points. I got a plus 145. Shop this one around. It was at plus 170 at one point during the day with over at FanDuel, but it might have dropped since. Dalton Connect, gone off the bench. They're no longer on the team, I should say. Gabe Vincent starting to play like 20, 22 minutes a game. I like him on that second team. He's hit this, I think, in 3 straight. And he's getting a Golden State Warriors team that can't defend spot-up shooters, which is pretty much what he is at this point, or at least for the Lakers. So 10 plus points at plus 145 for Gabe Vincent. Jeremy Grant, 18 plus points. They play the Kings. Again, a team that's not great at defending spot-up shooters, so I'm riding Jeremy Grant. I think his line's like 14.5. He's actually hit this pretty consistently over the last few. And then Anthony Black, this is the long shot, 10 plus points. Again, targeting weak spot-up shooters. And the Orlando Magic, they just need weak spot-up shooters defensively. Anthony Black is a spot-up shooter for the Orlando Magic, backup point guard. It's plus 265. This is the longer shot of the game. His point total is, I think it was opened at over 5.5, moved to 6.5. So it's essentially taking away the over 2 threes. And if you feel comfortable about hitting 2 threes, I think it buys him a couple more minutes to get to this 10 plus mark against the Nuggets. They need help offensively. That's what this Orlando Magic team needs. It can't be all Franz and Paolo, and it hasn't even been Paolo. So Anthony Black is. I got to take a look real quick if Contavious Caldwell Pope. I know he was questionable going into today's game, but let me look. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm on Underdog if anyone else is. No, I'm not getting anything on Contavious Caldwell Pope. If he's out, that definitely helps Anthony Black, but I still like this 10 plus line. So these 3 in a round robin, 3 total combinations. I put $15 on each, came to $45, and that is essentially 1 unit for me. So 1 unit invested across this in the round robin. Guys, we have a Saturday morning, 11 a.m. show for you to cover the Super Bowl. Decent NBA slate. Trade deadline was good to us, and we get to watch Luka Doncic on Saturday, hopefully play for the Los Angeles Lakers. I will see you Saturday morning. Take care.